Hi everybody, Craig here. Welcome to episode 9 of my 1 versus 3 versus 3 Age of Wonders 3 playthrough series. In this series, I'm playing against 2 separate teams of 3 Emperor AI per team, and I'm playing as the Halfling Dreadnought, Welby the Tinkerer. In our last episode, we unfortunately lost the city of Fahas to some roaming undead units, and you can see them right here. Really unfortunate that we lost this city, but we're going to try to kind of keep on going and recover from that, and we've actually got an army here composed of our 2 theocrats. So we have Holly and we have Pimpton, who are both quite leveled up here, as you can see, sitting at level 9, and they're going to be rallying some troops here to come back and try to reclaim the city of Fahas from the undead, and then we're going to continue to probably clear out some of the structures around Fahas and really try to solidify our grasp on this kind of western portion of the map here, kind of in the southwest. Now, before I dive into this episode, I did just want to give a couple of quick shoutouts to a few individuals who left some excellent comments on the last episode. The first of those comments comes from Victor Sapko. Victor pointed out that I actually have access to Skin of Oil, which is one of the spells that my fire magic specialization gives me access to. Now, I don't currently have it researched. However, if I were to research it and have it available to me, basically what it does, it's a debuff that you can apply to a unit to lower their resistance to fire damage, but in particular, it also just lowers their resistance. And I could actually exploit this when I'm trying to convert units, for example, here with my theocrats, using their conversion ability. So that would actually be a great idea, and it's something I hadn't really considered using. So excellent thought there from Victor. The next comment comes from Spencer Judd. Spencer pointed out that, as sort of my kind of instinct on this, conversions are probably going to be a really good path for me to building up an army kind of quickly. So again, just hopping back to my theocrats here, now that we have them both with convert, they're going to be able to hopefully really fairly rapidly increase the size of my forces, at least in this kind of western portion of the map. And I can also, as Spencer is pointing out here, I could also dedicate a city eventually to production of Eagle Riders. It would have to be a halfling city, of course. The Eagle Riders are a tier 3 racial unit of the halflings. It's a cavalry unit. And what Spencer is pointing out is that they're a pretty solid unit because they have wing beat, which hits the 3 units in front of them without a chance for retaliation. So that'll be really good to do some damage and open up units such that they all turn towards the Eagle Rider, and then of course are susceptible to flanking attacks from other units. In addition, something I had sort of thought of that would make this an even better idea is that as a Dreadnought, my cavalry units can actually get access to firing a pistol. That's one of the Empire upgrades that I can actually get access to. So, a great suggestion there from Spencer. The next comments come from John Calabro. John pointed out that rather than building an engineer in Hard Thistle right now and having that engineer join in with War Master Habby, what I could instead do is actually cancel this and build a musketeer instead. And there's actually a couple of reasons why John suggests that. Primarily here, it's that we already have an engineer in the stack, which is absolutely true, and that the musketeer can actually be reloaded by the engineer. So if we take a look here, we have access to rapid reload. Reloads target friendly machine unit or musketeer. Reloading takes the target's abilities off cooldown. So basically that would be like an instant reload for our musketeer, which would be really useful. And in addition, the musketeer is going to, since it's a halfling unit, gain an extra +1 to range strength. So if we take a look here, you can see that as halflings, we get +1 range strength. So that's going to actually augment our musketeers even further with extra damage. And that's something I had sort of kind of forgotten about, which is the racial benefit of being a halfling. And then in addition, since we're in a warlord stack, you can see right here that we've already upgraded War Master Habby here, and we have ranged command. So we're going to get +2 actually from the 2 different things I just mentioned. So that's actually pretty solid. So I think I'm going to actually do what John is suggesting. The only thing is I'm going to have to wrangle up a little bit of extra gold here because the engineer costs 63 gold, whereas the musketeer is 72, and we only have 2 extra. So Let's see if maybe I can wrangle up some gold here before the turn is over. But great suggestion there from John. Another comment here from Ivan Rockland. Ivan pointed out that I should probably aim to keep my morale as high as possible, in particular with my halfling units, because again, I've actually had a lot of instances where lucky has actually kind of saved my butt and prevented a lot of unnecessary damage from coming to my units. And of course, if my units have higher morale, they have a better chance of proccing lucky, and they also, of course, have a better chance of getting criticals. So kind of a multi-tiered benefit there. Next comment here from Casper Eklund. Casper pointed out that I could probably get access to the Fireball spell relatively soon, such that I'm able to do damage in battle using the spells available from my main leader. And I think that's a great idea, because currently I think all I have access to, if we look at my combat spells, is Overload, which basically is a target machine unit deals plus 10 damage until end of combat, but may be stunned for two turns after attacking. So it's kind of like a gambling sort of buff on a machine unit, but I don't really have any way of doing damage with my main spell casting. So Fireball would be a great way to just kind of give me some extra spell casting damage capability. So great suggestion there from Casper. The next set of comments comes from Yonsich. Yonsich pointed out that if I really want to start trying to snowball, I'm going to want to aim for capturing the capital city of one of my enemies. And I think that's a great point, that I kind of need to focus on one in particular, really siege that particular opponent, take their capital, and then go from there to try to kind of really get the momentum going. But of course, I'm going to need to continue building my forces, because I don't know if I'm quite there yet. Yonsich also points out that once I have access to tanks, so I have flame tanks currently researching right now, once I have access to producing flame tanks, that's going to make dealing with undead a heck of a lot easier, and I totally agree. That's because the undead have that fire weakness. But the tanks will also potentially come in handy depending on the race and class combinations of my 6 opponents that I'm up against. Again, I actually randomized them for this series, so I have no idea what I'm up against here. Yonsich also points out that if I'm going to produce an item, because I've talked about this previously, if I'm going to produce an item that will give Dominate to my heroes here in the Shadow Realm, so Welby and Leo, something that I could consider doing to kind of augment Dominate is that I could actually get Inflict Immolation with Welby. So if we look at his upgrades here, Inflict Immolation, melee and ranged attacks can inflict immolation. Ranged immolated units suffer 3 fire damage, -2 physical strength, -1 defense, -400 morale, and most importantly here, -1 resistance for 2 turns. So that -1 resistance will make it easier to then dominate units. So I think this is actually a great idea, something I had kind of overlooked here, but anything that can lower resistance will increase your odds of getting a conversion. So if I end up getting an item here in this stack that's going to give the option for domination, then I'm going to want to be able to lower resistance as much as possible to improve my odds. So great suggestion there from Yonsich. And Yonsich also points out that I could use Dominate on all the treasure structures and whatnot that I'm raiding in the Shadow Realm to really try and build up an army quickly, because obviously my units in the Shadow Realm are a little bit cut off somewhat from kind of my main forces. So that would allow me to build up an army there relatively quickly. The next set of comments comes from Ivan Engel. Ivan left quite a detailed set of comments there, and I actually responded to him, and then he responded to me. It's a really good discussion there, and there's a lot of good information. Ivan pointed out that kind of as a sort of taking a step back and looking at this playthrough series a little bit more from that kind of overall perspective, Ivan points out that in this series I've probably focused too much on city upgrades and not enough on unit production. And I completely agree. I think that's a very accurate and precise assessment of kind of how this series has been going so far, and maybe some of the mistakes that I've made at this point. Now, thankfully, we're starting to get into the mid-game, but I should hopefully be able to start to turn this around. And I'm going to try my best to do that. Ivan also pointed out that losing a city as halflings is actually even more dangerous, because your units can have a negative morale penalty when you lose cities. So if you have your cities being captured, that can actually result in a decreased morale of your troops. So even another reason why you don't want to lose cities as a halfling. So great point there from Ivan. Another comment here from Albatrom. Albatrom actually responded to the comment chain with myself and Ivan. And Albatrom pointed out that I shouldn't really worry so much about city upgrades, kind of as a general plan. And this applies kind of across the board for Age of Wonders 3. That in his opinion, one of the best strategies is to really focus on unit production, getting lots of cities and vassal cities. And again, he likes to point, or he wanted to point out here that the cap is often gold, not production. And I think that's a very astute observation, that in many cases, you're going to be limited by gold before you're limited by production. And so again, a great assessment there from Albatrom. Now, he also kind of put a caveat in there that focusing on unit production may not always be the most enjoyable way to play the game, but that it is often one of the most successful. And I think that's a great point. Albatrom also pointed out that, again, when you're looking at units that are defending your cities, you always have to consider the efficiency of those defenders. So, for example, you kind of generally want tier 1 units guarding your cities, because if we take a look at their upkeep, you can see here that they only cost 4 gold. Whereas a tier 2 unit is double that at 8 gold, and a tier 3 unit is double that at 16 gold, and so on and so forth. So you can see how if you have really expensive units guarding your city, that can actually get quite pricey, and you're maybe not getting the most kind of, so to speak, bang for your buck. So again, great point there. And then finally, Albatrom also mentioned that it's sometimes actually useful not to absorb your vassal cities. And this is actually a strategy I've kind of been employing with Valok here, because we had some roaming units that had spawned from this particular structure that were actually threatening our city, and I just didn't feel it was a good idea to absorb the city, because once you absorb it, all of the defending units disappear, and you have to then man the city yourself with your own forces. So having them as vassals kind of indefinitely is actually not a bad idea. And if we look underground, we actually have this dwarven city that's, again, kind of cut off from the rest of my empire. So I probably won't be absorbing this dwarven city anytime soon, although maybe eventually as I get going. Now, it looks like we have some cities that we have access to here, and I'm not exactly sure why. So that's interesting. It looks like, I guess they've been captured by some undead. Maybe these belong to my opponents at some point or something like that. That's quite interesting. Oh, we have another one up here. Okay, so now I don't have access to this, and I'm not sure why I can see this, but that's just something I noticed, so that could actually be the location of one of my opponents, perhaps. Anyway, a big thank you to everybody for all of those fantastic comments. You guys really delivered. I think this was a great point for me to kind of take a bit of a step back, really assess sort of how the playthrough series is going at this point. And man, you guys delivered. I'm always blown away by your insight and the amount of useful information you guys provide. It just, I really feel quite fortunate to have all of you leaving these amazing comments, because it really does help and it makes a big difference. And hopefully it helps for everybody else that's watching the episodes and reading the comments, because I think it really does improve kind of all of us in terms of getting better at the game and learning additional strategies and trying new approaches. So once again, big thank you to everybody, because I really, really do appreciate it, and it does make a big difference. Okay, so let's kind of dive in. So obviously we've got some work to do here, and we've got some things that we need to address. So probably one of those major things is that we really need to start prioritizing production. We need to get an army going, especially some of our tier 3 units that we now have access to. So again, we want to get a musketeer going. So I think we're going to try and sell off some items here. Now let's see, do we have any items that we'd want to sell? These are all pretty decent items, so I think we're going to keep those. Pimpton doesn't really have anything. So let's maybe try and see if any of our other heroes have some kind of quote-unquote useless items. This Frostling Ice Pick, I mean, it's not useless or anything, but I think I'm going to sell it off. Not particularly useful. It's not really providing me a flat damage increase or anything like that. Again, not useless, but I think I would rather have the extra money to be able to produce the Musketeer in this turn. So now we're working on that Musketeer. Alright, so we had this army, and we were going to kind of join them in, probably with Pimpton here, as we're going to split Pimpton off eventually. So I think what we'll do is we'll take at least a couple of these units. Maybe we'll include the Tigran cheetah as well. And we'll start heading kind of over this way. And then we'll park them right there. The idea being that we're going to move this stack on through here, bring them out this way, and then probably be able to group this unit in with Pimpton and maybe split them off as a separate army. But we're not going to be able to do this battle just yet, so we will wait to do that. Again, we'll tell them to just chill out. Now, over here, we're going to continue to have this army just camping out. Again, maybe not the most efficient use of all these extra units, but I need to wait until I have this Dreadnought's Foundry ready to go, such that I can then basically start producing some extra units. Because I'm going to need more assistance in this stack. And actually, I may end up maybe summoning even a spy drone to help out, just so that I have some extra units in this stack, so that I can start clearing out the ancient ruins. And this dungeon's probably a little bit above our pay grade for now, but I do want to clear out the ancient ruins so I have access to Pillar of the Stylites, and then I can start producing eventually some really good pikeman units out of a Bebjun there. All right. So I think we've used pretty much all our movement here. Yeah, we're not able to do this battle, and I want these units to join in if we're going to try it. Again, pretty tough battle here as we've got a number of flyers and draconian units, so we'll tell that unit to just hang out. Now, we've got spell casting we can do, and let's just take a look at our production here before we flip over. So we're doing the Musketeer here in Hard Thistle. In our throne, we're about to have the Arcane Item Forge, which is going to be fantastic, as that's going to allow us to then produce some items that give us Dominate. We're almost done the Dreadnought's Foundry there in Bebjun. Over to Asyut, we're just finishing up a Siege Workshop there, which will increase our production capabilities, which will be nice. Over to Ripura, we're actually working on a temple. You know what, I actually think I'm tempted to get rid of the temple, maybe instead of producing that, focus on something else. The reason why I would want the temple, though, is that it's going to give me access to the Shadow Elf Storm Priest, which is actually a very powerful unit. Yeah, you know what? I guess I will keep that going, just because the Storm Priest is going to be quite useful for us. So now, in terms of what to summon, I do need to have a unit here in Bittercrest in order to actually send these items off once they are being produced. So I think maybe what I'll do is I'll actually summon a spy drone in my throne, tell him to just camp out, and then the idea being that now at this point, the spy drone is going to be able to send off any items that are produced, and I think if we're the first one to produce an Arcane Item Forge, I think we also get a bonus item, so that'll actually be nice that we have that unit there. And I actually was thinking about this some more, and I would actually really like to have a few extra spy drones, the reason being that, in particular in the Shadow Realm, so this unit here popped up out of somewhere, and we're not exactly sure where. I don't know where that spawned from. Let's just zoom out a little bit. I really don't know where they appeared from, and I'm looking around, so it could have been maybe from over here somewhere. I don't know exactly. There's a lot of unexplored area, although this appears to be the void right here, so it's unlikely that they maybe came from down here, but perhaps over in this side. And as well, we've got unexplored area up here. I seem to recall seeing some bandits wandering around at one point as well, some scoundrels, so it would be great to actually get another spy drone to maybe do some additional scouting up here. So I think that's something I'm going to spend my casting points on now, and then I'm also going to want to consider eventually doing another mana node conversion, because if we look over here at Asyut, you can see that we're going to have this mana node in our domain within a couple of turns here, so... but that being said, I actually think right now I want these spy drones because I need to kind of know what's going on and have a little bit more of a plan, I think. Balok, again, is offering to join. We're not going to take them up on that because, as I kind of stated, we don't really have the units to man the city. So we're going to end the episode right... Or, excuse me, we're not ending the episode. We're ending our turn right there. Boy, that would be my shortest episode ever, I think, if I were to do that. But, we'll let this turn flip over. We'll kind of see what happens. Thankfully, with Welby in the Shadow Realm, we're, I think, going to be able to come in and finally liberate this city that's been kind of under siege here by these pesky elemental units for quite a long time. So we're probably going to have to defend the city one more time using our little cheese technique, and then we'll be able to send in Welby and Leo to finally clear out these units. and, like I said, liberate the city. So once they've done that, of course, we're going to send them down. We actually have a quest going for this particular city, and if we complete it, we'll get them as a vassal. And I think we have to kill some Eldritch Horrors, if I remember correctly, so we'll have our work cut out for us, but in any case, that is something we will be able to do. Now, the big question as well is, are we going to be able to deal with the enemy if we end up encountering them? I'm starting to kind of wonder where my opponents are, because we're really getting nicely into the mid game at this point. We're in turn 33. Again, I'm not really at mid tier when it comes to my units, and that was one of the criticisms I think levied by Ivan, and I again agree with him, that I really need to focus on getting my unit, my army kind of composition up to sort of the mid-tier level, getting more tier 2, tier 3 units, rather than kind of relying mostly on tier 1 and some tier 2. Okay, so now, yeah, we're going to defend the city. The point being, though, that if we do encounter our opponents, it's going to be a little bit spicy, I think, if we're trying to deal with them with what we currently have at our disposal. Alright, so we're going to just use our Shadow Elves here to basically use our, like I said, cheese technique and just kind of run away. And we just have to stay out of range of that phase ability. That's the big thing here. I think we usually go this way. I'm just trying to remember. And then I think I might have used my sprint a little bit there. Okay, so that should be sufficient. I think we usually go over like this, and then we just park right around in here behind this kind of, almost looks like a little bazaar here where you're selling goods. I think we're okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So, thankfully, we've survived the onslaught here of these elementals. We'll have Welby in here to deal with that. So that will be nice. We can finally... Oh, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but I did see some bandit units up here. As I said, I remembered seeing them a few turns ago. And, or at least I think I did. So that was something, obviously, I need to be careful of. Okay, so it looks like Arundel has a quest available. Tell me more. Okay, so they want some spiders eliminated. Unfortunately, I really don't think we're going to have an army that's able to do that at the moment, so I think we're going to not really be able to do that quest. Now, we are getting better at governing Tigrans. So if we look here, we've got either the military upgrade for our Sun Guards and Saber-Tooth Chariots, or we've got a settler upgrade for the economic, which makes them cheaper. I think we're going to go with the military upgrade because I don't suspect we're going to be building a ton of settlers in our Tigran cities. So let's go over to the military upgrade and accept that. And that will actually benefit my Sun Guard unit that I have produced already, so that's kind of nice. And here we go. We did complete Master Smith because we've completed our Arcane Item Forge. And there's our item reward. Let's see what it is. Oh my. Amulet of the Cursed Widow. It's a jewel item that provides fearsome. So every time the unit gets attacked, it has a chance to panic the enemy units. That's an extremely powerful item. Probably best, I would think, on one of my units that's maybe going to get in combat a little more. So perhaps my Warlord, Warmaster Habby, or maybe one of my Warlords, or my other Warlord, Leo, would actually benefit tremendously from that. So if we look here, again, Leo, I've kind of built him up a little bit. He has martial arts. You know what? I think I might send that to Leo. I think that would benefit him quite a bit. So let's send that off to Leo. Again, because the unit has to be taking a melee attack or touch attack. So it needs to be a hero who's going to be actually getting into battle, getting into the melee combat. And I think my Warlords are a little more likely that I'm going to risk them in that way. So we'll send that off to Leo. Very happy to get that. Oh, and look at this. We have an alliance proposal from... let's see, how do we say this? Zaire, which is a draconian outpost in the Shadow Realm. I will definitely take that. They are now my vassal. I don't even think I had to do a quest for them, but I might be mistaken. I can't remember if we went through and did the quest here. I don't think so. So that's really nice. Another Shadow Realm vassal. Very happy to have that. Anything else kind of crazy going on? Again, we have that quest, which we're going to ignore. Okay, so we did produce this Musketeer. So we will send the Musketeer up to join our stack, and then we can actually try out this battle to clear out this inn. That won't be a gimme by any means, as that's actually pretty well defended. Now, over here, this is the big question. Do we want to try doing this battle here? And we've actually got some we're in pretty tough here with all these Draconian Flyers. They're very mobile, which is always a little bit scary. So, I think what I would do is, if I'm going to do the battle, I'll group my Ogre in like that. Then I'll move my units up. And then I would engage it and kind of roll the dice there. That's a bit of a risk, but I think I can handle it. Maybe have an opportunity to recruit one of these Flyers if possible. I'm going to procrastinate this battle a little bit, though, because I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I think maybe instead I will focus on producing some units here. Or, excuse me, on dealing with some other movement here in the meantime. So I think we'll move Welby over, and let's finally clear out this super pesky elemental units here. It's been a long time coming, but we've made it back, and we're going to deal with them now. Alright, so obviously it would be great to get rid of this Wisp, as it is quite annoying. And it can phase in behind, so we're going to do that. Let's see, with Leo, can we... Yeah, we can actually do quite a lot of damage there. And that would actually keep us out of range, so not such a bad thing. Can we hit him with a firebomb? Yes, we can. And that should be the kill. Excellent. Okay, and this Fire Elemental now is not going to be able to hit anybody, so he's just going to move up a bit. And that'll actually open up some opportunities here to maybe just blast the heck out of him with some extra damage here. So, yeah, unfortunately our Brew Brothers not quite in range to be able to do a ton of damage. But maybe what we do, actually, is we... You know what we could do? We can buff Leo and throw him in there. That might not be such a bad idea. Get our Brew Brother up involved. Yeah, we can get Leo in there. Let's do that. Again, he's got martial arts. He should be able to handle that. Farmer can kind of move up as well. The one thing to note is that this elemental does have sprint, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do something a little funny. But let's see what happens. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, going after my Brew Brother, which not necessarily surprising. So I think what we'll do is we'll move over here and try and turn him around without killing him. Now, hopefully we don't get a critical. There we go. The reason I didn't want to kill him is because I want to move my units off and actually get some heals down, rather than... Actually, you know what? We'll move one more. There we go. We'll do a Nourishing Meal there. Do a Nourishing Meal on Leo. Not that he really needs it that much. We can step Leo up and just get the finish. Excellent. And that way, nobody took any damage from the explosion, which... Obviously, we did not want that to happen. Okay. Now, Leo leveled up, which is awesome. And I think we're going to give him Blood Brothers here. So I'd been kind of saving up some upgrade points for that. Leo, again, currently isn't leading a stack, but eventually I would like to have him leading a stack. And Blood Brothers would really help out with that. So all units in the Heroes Army gain Strong Will, and as well they gain Spirit Protection. So, and I think actually Spirit Immunity. So that's a really, really good upgrade. Strong Will gives them Mind Control immunity, which is really, really good. So once he's leading his own stack, he's very well equipped to do that. Now, this Spy Drone, I'm trying to decide where it would be best used. Again, I think I might add one into this stack, just so that I have an extra unit. Because I'm going to now probably produce a Musketeer, I think, in that city. So we'll also add a Spy Drone. And then we can keep this little guy guarding the city, or maybe we could swap the Spy Drone off and guard the city, and then we'll because it might actually be a nice synergy to have the Blight Doctor with Weakening and our little Untouchable with Poison Spit. So maybe we'll actually use the Spy Drone just to guard the city, and then we can, once we have the Musketeer, we can group him in here, and then send this stack over to deal with the Ancient Ruins. So I think that will be good. Now, we'll start summoning another Spy Drone because I think this is the one we're going to use to do some scouting with. Let's go back over to Bittercrest. Okay, so at this point, we are now able to start producing some Tier 3 units, which is fantastic. But I think I might first want to produce an item here using our item forge. Although, you know what? It is pretty tempting to just get a cannon going. Maybe I'll do one cannon, and then I'll do the item. Because that is only a single turn. And it would be pretty cool to at least have one cannon. I could then send the cannon up to join in with War Master Habby, who does have an engineer. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. Alternatively, I could send the cannon over this way to actually reinforce this stack eventually. They do have a builder who can repair. Alright, so that's kind of a tough call, because if I start making the item now, it does take a few turns to create the item, and then it takes a few more turns to send it off to whoever I need to send it to. So that's probably a minimum of like 4, maybe 5 turns. So obviously the sooner I get on that, the better. Also, we don't really have the gold to produce the cannon, so maybe we'll just do the item. So, because I don't think that's going to cost us too much gold. Now, I had a suggestion from, I think it might have been Spencer. I apologize if I'm attributing this suggestion incorrectly, but I really liked the idea of making a dominating chicken. So we're going to have a dominating chicken as our item. And we're going to grab dominate on it. Let's just see if we can find it here. There it is, dominate. So we will add that, and we will call this the dominating chicken. Excellent. And let's dominating. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I spelled that correctly. All right, perfect. So we'll have this produced in 2 turns, and again, that only cost us 42 gold, which was enough. So if we had wanted to build the cannon, that's 130 gold. So we wouldn't have had enough to do it in this turn. So that kind of made my decision for me. Back to Hard Thistle here. Again, we don't have enough gold to really do anything else. The city's already a metropolis, so I think we'll just do merchandise. Okay, so we've kind of been procrastinating this battle over here. You know what? In the meantime, before we do that battle, let's do this one for the inn. The other nice thing about clearing out this inn, in addition to the extra happiness for the city, is that it's going to give us an additional option when it comes to potentially acquiring new units via spending our gold. Okay, so we got a lucky, and then we didn't get a lucky, so our engineers took some big damage. Of course, the AI loves to go after our engineers, so I need to keep that in mind. I don't want them to die. Our musketeers, on the other hand, are... I think we're going to just move them right up and go after these jesters. Let's see, we can hopefully get the kill. Oh, not quite. That's a bit of a shame. We're going to have to deal with these pony riders. They're going to pose a bit of a problem for us, I'm sure. We'll send our party robot prototype up to kind of guard here a little bit. Again, it would be great to get rid of this jester. I may actually... You know what? I'm going to send War Master Habby over here to do that. I just didn't want them hanging around doing extra damage. Now, one thing I suppose we could try and do is blind the jester to limit the amount of... It's a 66% chance, so pretty high odds. That would severely limit the damage output, because if they're blinded, they can't use their firework except to be point blank. The only thing is that does leave my engineer kind of exposed. Now I can truck my party robot in there to basically soak up some hits. But yeah, I don't know if I want to risk that. So maybe instead, we do have our jester as well. You know, I suppose, I wonder how much damage... Let's see, how much damage can we do? Ooh, you know, we could dazzle the pony rider potentially. I mean, it's a low odds of it working. I just really want to keep my engineers from getting killed off here, so I think this is kind of a tough decision here. So, okay, if we do this, that's pretty decent damage. Yeah, let's do it. Ooh, and we got... Oh, they got lucky. Dang it. Well, I guess it goes both ways. We're going to run our engineer back because I suspect they're going to try to kill them off. So we'll hide back there. Now, hopefully our party robot can tank all this damage. Ooh, going after my ranged units. Yeah, they really tried to kill my Jester there. So now we're going to have to try and retaliate. And Party Robot, we may have to take an attack of opportunity from the Night Watch to be able to try and kill off the Pony Rider. And I think we're going to bring War Master Habby in to try and assist with that process here. Now, these Men-at-Arms, unfortunately, have first strike, which is going to make them kind of nasty, but let's do it. There we go. Not too bad. Meanwhile, the Musketeer can move around here and do a reload. And then we can try and take out the Brew Brother. Now, as for War Master Habby, we may have to ride in and actually do some work on this Pony Rider or on the Jester. Now, let's see. If we run our... we move our Halfling Jester back a little ways, we can actually do a tremendous amount of damage here. There we go. And then I think with our Engineer... let's see. We're going to do a minimum of 7, assuming that there's no Lucky. So that should get the kill, assuming no Lucky, of course. Fantastic. Alright, so now we can ride in with War Master Habby. Do some big damage there. Importantly, after War Master Habby attacks, he actually goes back into defense mode thanks to Vigilant, which is a really, really nice ability. Alright, so now, yeah, I think we should kill off the Pony Rider, personally. Although Habby can probably deal with them, honestly. I'm just a little concerned about the Brew Brother. But, yeah, you know what? Alright, yeah, let's let Habby deal with that. We'll just kill off the Night Watch. My only concern is if he breaks away and goes in to try to kill my... okay, there we go. Fantastic. So now we're in great shape. All we've got left to deal with is the Brew Brother. I think we can basically move in with our 2 units here and get the kill. So instead, I'm going to try and do some healing while I have the ability. So let's move our Jester over. Throw a nice nourishing meal there onto our Jester. Now let's see. Can we hit him with a blunderbuss shot? Not quite, eh? Now, what about our Musketeers, however, can do a musket shot. Turn him around. That's great. That opens him up. Now we can get a nice flanking shot here. Excellent. Then we can move our War Master in. I don't think we're going to be able to get the kill, but... oh, yes, we can. Okay, fantastic. Again, assuming no Lucky. Excellent. Okay, so that battle is dealt with. We've cleared out the inn. We now have access to... it looks like we have a High Elf Griffin Rider here that we could purchase. Again, very pricey, but if we wanted to really get a nice mobile Tier 3 unit, that would be one option. And then we've got a selection of Tier 1 units as well. So, nice to just have the option in case we kind of need an emergency replenishment of our forces. Now, the Musketeer is out of movement, so I think we'll just tell this unit to hang out. Alright, now here's the battle I've kind of been putting off a little bit, so... I think we're going to do it. We could just go around, but I think it's worth doing. Again, we may be able to recruit an extra unit here. We're going to have to be extremely, extremely careful, because I think it's going to be very easy for us to accidentally lose a unit here, like one of our ogres, or either our ogre or our flyer or something. And of course, we absolutely do not want to lose one of our heroes. So I think we'll send our heroes kind of back a little bit. Now, I'm thinking about using Smite here. Let's see, what's the effectiveness of Smite on one of these flyers? That's really not going to do a whole lot. Kind of a low odds of it being successful. Move our Ogre over, and we'll actually do a Bestow Iron Heart on the Ogre to really buff him up. And then we're going to bring our Musketeers back a little bit. We're going to just kind of group ourselves up a little here. Kind of turtle up a touch. Just so that we're nice and protected. Again, because these flyers are so mobile. Now the question is, do I want to use Holly to throw on a Smite? Or should I just buff one of my other units? And I'm kind of tempted to maybe buff the flyer. So I think maybe we'll just do that. There it is. Okay, thankfully they're not actually coming at us, which is going to give us additional opportunities here to buff our units. So let's do a Touch of Faith. on the ogre. And then... Now, what turn is it? It's round 2, so we could actually do this one more time and then start casting spells. Yeah, let's do that. And then we'll start casting spells here next turn. Again, I'm very concerned about the movement potential of these flyers. That's the thing scaring me the most. I just don't want them swooping in behind me and doing some damage to me. All right, let's try a smite. Okay, resisted, but we did some damage, and that probably will incentivize them to come, start attacking me is my guess. So I guess we'll see what happens here. No, okay, well, let's just keep doing that then, because that's going to give us some free damage. And we'll just keep using it on the same guy. Nice, and it was effective. Awesome. Okay, so now they're starting to do... Now they're going to move at us. Here they come. Thankfully, that flyer is in really rough shape, so we've kind of limited the... We've limited their potential to really hurt us here quite a bit, which is great. Now, the big question is... So these flyers obviously have access to us, and they can fly in and start hitting all my units up front. The adventurer is not really going to be able to withstand that onslaught. So now here with Pimpton, we can throw another smite. If it's successful, we'll probably get the kill, but we only have a 35% chance of it landing. What the heck. Okay, resisted. Not entirely unexpected. Alright, our musketeers here can do some pretty nasty damage. Might almost be worth moving our adventurers over here, perhaps, so that they're kind of out of range a little bit more. You know what? I think I'm going to do that. We'll move our adventurer like this. We'll move our musketeer, or maybe even... You know what? We'll move our naga in like that. And our skewer can hang out kind of like this. Alright, now let them... I guess let them come. Let's see if they can do anything to us. Okay, there they go, going after my adventurer. I'm okay. If I have to sacrifice the adventurer, that's really not the end of the world. Okay, there goes the one. That's good. We really wanted to get rid of that one flyer. And you know what? We can actually step up with our skewer. Get rid of the other one. Or turn him around, do some massive damage there, as you see. Fantastic. Oh, and then our naga can just kill him outright, which is excellent. The only issue then is we need to be able to actually get out of there, because we want to try and convert this flyer with our 2 heroes. So we need to be able to move out of here. So I think maybe what we'll do is send our flyer up like this. Turn the Temple Guard around, or just outright kill him. That's fine, too. No complaints there. And then we can... I think we'll kill with the... We'll get the kill with the Slither. There we go. Then we can move our Ogre up like this. And that's going to free up our heroes to get in there and try for some conversions here. So, we'll move Pimpton over like this. Try for a conversion. 50% odds. Nice, and we got it. Fantastic. Okay, now we're in excellent shape. This is fantastic. All right, so now our musketeer can step up. You know what? We'll even move in with Holly and throw on a heal. Now, I don't think either of these elders have any kind of break control or anything like that, so they don't. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try and convert one of the elders with our other conversion. Oof, taking some fire damage, a little bit unfortunate there for our goblin skewer. Now, who has the... It's this, Holly has it. Okay. So we're going to move... We want Holly to get in there and be able to try for a conversion. Just checking. They're about the same, so it doesn't matter which one we try it on. Let's send Holly up like this and give it a shot. Ah, they resisted. Again, always worth trying, because you never know if it's going to work, and if it does, that's fantastic. Do a little bit of damage here. Send our flyer in for a nice flank hit here. Ooh, and the outright kill. Very, very good. Now, you know what? We'll sprint ourselves right up here. Do a little bit of damage with our adventurer. And our Slither's at full health. I was going to use Slip Away to try to gain some extra health back. Now, let's see if that gives us any health. So we're at 20... Or, excuse me, if that gives us any extra experience. We're at 20 experience right now. No, it doesn't. Okay. Worth trying, though, because if it did, that would be kind of a cool little discovery. All right, there we go. So, excellent battle there. We didn't lose anybody, and we were able to, thankfully, convert another Draconian Flyer, which is great for us. Now, let's... Oh, and look at these items. Okay. Vile Tome of the Hag. Legendary usable item, which gives Steal Enchantment and Throw Curse. That's fantastic for our Theocrats. Throw Curse attempts to curse target enemy unit. Cursed units suffer minus 300 morale, minus 2 defense, and most importantly, minus 2 resistance until the end of combat. This is excellent for my Theocrats because if they are successful in cursing a unit, they can then more easily convert that unit. So that's fantastic. Foot Wrappings of Power, epic leg gear item, 20% fire weakness, but you get plus 3 defense. And then just a brown leather scaled tunic, strong torso item, plus 2 defense. I will happily take those rewards. And I think I'm going to give them here to Holly. So I'm actually not too upset giving her this Foot Wrappings of Power because she already has 80% fire protection. If this was sitting at 100%, I don't think I would give these to her because then she'd be immune to fire. But, I mean, she's still 60% resistant to fire and now has 17 defense, which is unreal. So, very happy with that. And we'll give Holly the Vile Tome so she can throw a curse. Oh, that worked out so well. I'm very, very glad that that went well, and I'm happy that I did that. Okay, so we're going to just get back on the road here, and I think we're probably almost at the point where we could split these armies up. We could move Pimpton off, maybe grab the Adventurer with Pimpton, and then have him lead a stack composed of this Flyer, maybe the Slither, definitely our Sun Guard. We can kind of have a hodgepodge stack with Pimpton and have sort of the main fighting group with Holly. But we can figure out how we want to do that later. And just a reminder, this Traveling Circus has access to some units here. We could grab another High Elf Griffin Rider if we really wanted. You know, this would allow us to actually build a very mobile army. If we could get the hero a flying mount, because we have all these flyers now. But in any case, I'm just glad that we have all these options. All right, so we'll move these guys up. And you know what? We'll even move them up as well. Yeah, that'll do. So now we've got all of our units here. We can kind of start making ourselves a really decent army. So, again, these conversions are coming in absolutely clutch when we need them. So that's great. Yeah, we're going to chill here one more turn until we have the Musketeer, and then I think we'll be able to go in and deal with this Ancient Ruins, or at least think about dealing with it. We might want to maybe make one more unit to help out with that, but to replace one of our weaker units. But in any case, that pretty much takes care of this turn. So very, very happy with the outcome there. Yeah, I'm exceptionally happy with how that went. Really, really can't complain. Now, so we're going to have access to this spy drone once the turn flips over, and I think I'm going to summon him probably in the Shadow Realm. So that we can do some exploration to try to clear out the spawning structures around Ripura there. Because obviously that's going to just continually be a problem for me if I don't clear those out. It's just going to keep harassing and causing problems for us, so... Oh, I hear wing beats. That's not usually a good thing. That might mean those undead are moving around. Those Bone Dragon units. I do not like hearing the sound of wing beats. Just looking around to see if I can see anything. Ooh, and we're not even at the Independence yet, so that means one of our opponents is probably nearby and has flying units. So I have to be really, really careful, because again, we could hear those wing beats. So probably just out of eyesight where I'm assuming we've got one of our opponents. Because again, all of the actual opponents move first, and then the independents, which is the roaming units, get to move. So a little bit disconcerting, to say the least. All right, fantastic. Arundel wants to join us. Again, I don't think we're going to take on that offer because they are underground. Same with Valak. We're not at a point where we can comfortably do that yet. Arundel, let's take a look. Yeah, so, again, we don't have any units down here. I just don't think it's worth doing. Thankfully, Asyut has actually grown. So now, once we have this spy drone, we can start working on this mana node conversion, which will be good. Alright, so lots of things to do here in this turn. So we're obviously going to keep on moving, see if we can get in there and deal with those undead. And then once we've done that, we can actually go into this lost library, try to recruit some units. There were some unexplored structures down here that we could clear out. And as well, there's going to be things up north that we haven't dealt with. We've also got a watchtower right here. It'd be nice to clear this out and another lost library. It'd be nice to go clear this out just to get better vision of what's going on up here. Those watchtowers really come in handy when you're trying to keep an eye out for roaming units or your opponents. So, not to mention we've got still a few things over here. I don't think I cleared out this lost library. So, might not end up going back over there, but we'll have to see. Alright, so let's kind of think about our composition of our stack here. So if we wanted to split this up, we would have Holly, the Flyer, the Ogre. So we've got some good melee units. The Musketeer probably makes sense to keep in that stack. And then, let's see. So Pimpton will keep the Adventurer, who's quite strong. Probably need another ranged unit in there just to make that a little bit more, maybe balanced, perhaps. The Slither I definitely want with Pimpton, because that's going to be a nice kind of melee unit. And probably the other Sun Guard can go in there, or the Sun Guard can go in there as well. So now we've got two decent melee units there to be a bit of a damage tank, I guess. We've also got our Flyer, who I've kind of forgotten about. Flyer, I guess, can go in there. Now we've kind of got our miscellaneous units. Goblin Skewer. You know, I'm just realizing this now. I don't know if I ever actually cast. Let me see. Oh, I do have Suppressed Nature active. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I had that going because I'm noticing that if we hold it over here, it's dislikes tropical and we're in a tropical. But as you see, there's no actual morale impact of that. So that's good. It still shows up. It just doesn't, the morale impact doesn't actually happen. So that's good to know. Okay, so now how do I want to divvy this up? Our Adventurer, we might want to actually add an Adventurer in here. Just because then we have two ranged units rather than just the one. Now our Cheetah and our little Skewer. We don't have a Pikeman unit in there, so let's give them the Skewer. And then the Cheetah can, I suppose, go in there. Fantastic. Nice division of our units there. And again, we can always rebalance if necessary. And once we maybe convert a few more units. So we're going to keep them together just because there's these super nasty bone dragons coming up. So we're obviously going to want to clear this out. I guess just the one. But if I remember correctly, there was actually a second stack with another bone dragon somewhere in the vicinity. So I got to keep my eyes peeled. All right, now over to Asyut. We actually have better production capabilities now in this city, which is awesome. So I think I'm going to want to probably work on getting some units being able to be produced over here because, again, this is kind of off on its own, and it would be nice to start building up some forces over here. Maybe send them into the Shadow Realm or send them up north and see what's up here. So lots of things to do over there that we can kind of accomplish if we can build up some forces. Now, as with this unit, we're actually in really, really good shape in terms of our health. Our robots didn't really take all that much damage, which is great. Now, the question is, are we strong enough to deal with these orcs? I'm not really so sure, because we've got two orc shock troopers who are just absolute beasts. 17 melee damage with that melee strike, so absolute beasts in melee combat. We really don't have a ton of elemental damage. We have the fireworks coming out there, but we don't really have any elemental damage to take advantage of the orcs' weak resistance. So we might need to be a bit stronger before we try that on for size. And this Lost Library, I'm a little bit hesitant to try that as well. Maybe something that we do instead, I had talked about these watchtowers. We could actually send this stack up to maybe go raid this watchtower, and that would actually then give us much better vision range of what's going on up here. And then we maybe turn around, we come on back once we have a little bit more experience, and then we try clearing out some of these structures. That's not the worst idea. I'm gonna kind of ponder this one for a minute while I'm thinking about some other stuff. So if we go back over to Bev Jun here. So now we have ourselves a musketeer, which is excellent. And add that to our stack here. All right, so now if we're gonna divvy this stack up a little bit, I think we would probably move the spy drone to actually guard the city and move the untouchable in to this stack so it can kind of synergize a little bit with the Blight Doctor. Although, you know, having the spy drone as kind of an expendable unit that can just go in and explode and die is not so bad. Okay, here's an idea. Maybe we actually just go over and see what's actually in this before we decide. Let's actually go see what we're up against. So we'll send our Prowler over. Oh boy, so we've got 1, 2, 3 monster hunters, a berserker, and a bard. Mass Curse is going to be active. You know, I'm not really feeling confident about that. Even with what I've got, I think we're going to need some more units, honestly. Like, a better unit, some tier 2s. So maybe we'll instead try and get maybe a golem. We can add him in as another really strong melee unit. Perhaps we could replace the builder for doing the battle, and then we can have the builder back in there after. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Yeah, let's do the golem. That'll add in. I don't want to do this prematurely when we're not ready and end up losing a bunch of units. So I think we'll keep that for now. Now, hopefully those units don't end up coming back. I remember seeing, like I said, those scoundrel units. Oh, well, there they are. We've actually just encountered them, so perfect. We can take them on, kill them off, and remove the threat to our city. Now, we're going to have to watch out for the Assassin Strike, and we're also going to have to watch out for the Shadow Stalker here. Thankfully, it is a lesser Shadow Stalker. Alright, so our units are in pretty good shape here. Again, very strong at this point. Shadow Stalker is really resistant to damage, to physical damage, I should say. Be nice if we could just kill off the Assassin kind of outright here. Now, the big question is, do we want to maybe use Leo to just throw an insurance spell on our unit that we send in there? And you know what? We might end up doing that. So we can charge our Pony Rider in there. You know what? Yeah, let's do that with Leo. Just to be kind of on the safe side, let's throw Phoenix Warrior on our Pony Rider. I don't think we'll need it, but... Oh, we just outright killed them with a critical hit, so that's great. A little bit easier now, so... Send our Brew Brother in, do a little bit of work there. Okay, we do have to be careful. We don't want our Brew Brothers getting too far into the mess of things, but could use Welby here to do some damage. I'm a little concerned. I don't really want Welby being up front and center, however. Yeah, there. That's fine now. Perfect. Okay. Oh, damn. That was a lot of damage to our Brew Brother there. Oof. Really got to make sure we don't lose that Brew Brother. That would be extremely unfortunate for us. Okay, so we'll step up here. Turn them around. That's going to allow us to step off with this Brew Brother, thankfully. Now, I think our Pony Riders can... they won't quite be able to get the finish there. So, let's get the kill with our Brew Brother. And then we can move Welby in to assist, kind of. Step up here. Do a nice big blast. Oh, and just get the kill with a high roll. Fantastic. Okay, so that takes care of that. That worked out almost perfectly. I was really just using the path of kind of least resistance here to go to down here to deal with this quest. So again, we have to kill the Eldritch Horror to get a Vassal proposal, an Exterminator, a Storm Priest, and a Snatch Purse of Kobold Design, which will be really, really good for us. Like, just all the upgrades together will be good for us. So, yeah, that just worked out really favorably. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of the Shadow Realm for now. And again, we are going to want this city to be a little bit better defended since we've got roaming units, but maybe we'll summon the Spy Drone right over here. And then kind of just go check out what's over in this area. It looks like we've got ourselves a city over here as well. So we may want to go make contact. Yeah, you know what? Let's go make contact, and then we'll turn around and go explore over here. All right. Now, in terms of production and spell casting, we actually can do another Spy Drone, which instead of the Fire Node, which maybe will be actually a good idea. I have to think about that a little bit. Let's think about production, though, for our other cities. So, Hard Thistle. Probably maybe just start making some extra units, or, you know what, doing a Blast Furnace, then we can start doing cannons and flame tanks. So, you know what, let's just do the Blast Furnace and really start cranking out some powerful units out of Hard Thistle. I think that's a good plan. Over to Assiat here. Now, the big question is, do I want to go for just standard Tigran units, or do I want to go for my Dreadnought units? The path to getting Dreadnought units might be a little bit shorter, in that I'll be able to get Tier 3 units with only building 2 structures, rather than having to build the Barracks, the War Hall, and then also the Tigran specialty structure. Although, there are some Tigran units that I wouldn't mind getting access to. Like, even having a Sphinx would be pretty incredible. You know what? Let's just go for the Barracks, maybe. I'm kind of hemming and hawing over this. Let me see. Is there anything else that we have to do production-wise before that we do that? Before we commit? What about our throne? Okay, we're still working on our dominating chicken. Ripura, we're still doing the temple, which will be great. Then we can produce our Storm Priest, which will be excellent. No, I guess we really don't have much else. So it's really just coming down to how do we want to spend this last little bit of gold. Do we want to focus on the Foundry, or do we want to focus on the Barracks? I'm leaning towards the Foundry, and that's also going to be very efficient with our use of production income. I think I'm going to do it. Okay. Oh, and I forgot we still have this unit to move. So let's head up here, and let's clear out this watchtower. And that's going to give us some extra experience for this stack, and as well, it's going to give us a lot of extra vision range. We'll be able to kind of see what's coming at us, which I think is going to make a huge difference for us. Ooh, and unfortunately, we're bleeding thanks to the Shredder doing some damage to us. Okay, let's see. We'd have to get a perfect roll to get a kill, but let's see. Oh, not quite. All right, so that means War Master's probably going to have to move in and do the finishing blow here. There we go. Now, of course, we want to keep our engineers relatively safe because they are going to be a prime target. So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll send our party robot in there just to do some guarding. And then I think maybe we'll send our other party robot in like this. We'll keep our engineer back. And our Jester, perhaps. Yeah, I don't really want them getting in melee range either. So we'll let them kind of come to us. Always got to watch out for this cheetah and its pounce ability. Ooh, going after my hero. Okay. That's actually not so bad. I think we can move around behind here, do a nice flanking hit, and actually get the kill. That's excellent. That's going to allow us to then flank this cheetah and get the kill with War Master Hobby. Excellent work there. And then we can move our Jester in behind here, do a nice flanking, dazzling hit, or a chance to dazzle, I should say. Okay, it didn't work, but that's not really surprising. We can do a blunderbuss shot here. Excellent. I actually shouldn't have done it that way because now we're going to get first strike. So that was a bit of a mistake. Not that it's a huge problem, but a little extra damage that we didn't actually need to take there. So, oh well. Level ups here with both our party robots, which is great. Okay, so that makes a huge difference now. We can kind of see what's going on sort of north of our area. Oh, and there it is. Okay, so there's a haunted boneyard here. That's what spawned this nasty bone dragon, I think, is probably this haunted boneyard. So we may need to actually go down and deal with that then. So that's great. That's fantastic. We know what's there now. Okay, level up for War Master Habby's level 5, I should say. Might be nice to just give him an actual kind of spell that would be sort of nice to have for battle. Last Stand, I really do enjoy. Martial Arts would also be great for him. You know what? We could do both. Do Last Stand. Great. That's a great battle spell. And then Martial Arts. There we go. Good set of upgrades for Habby. All right, that's going to bring us to the end of our turn here. So now, do we want to do a Spy Drone or transform to Fire Node? So if we do the Fire Node, next turn would be able to change this into a Fire Node. So that is kind of tempting. If we were to do the Spy Drone, it would then take us 2 turns to do the Fire Node. So let's do the Fire Node. And you know what? I think we'll end the turn here then. So that pretty much takes care of everything. All right, so while the turn is flipping over, we're just going to kind of think about what's going on here. So again, I'm going to try to figure out what would be the best unit composition to be able to deal with what's in here, because again, it would be great if we could actually get tier 3 units produced here. So maybe I don't want to hang around and keeping this stack here for too long, but that would be good to have some assurance when we go to raid this ancient ruins that we're not going to lose a bunch of units. And yeah, up north here, I don't think some of these other structures are a little bit, yeah, that's obviously extremely well defended. Could probably handle this Shrine to the Scarlet Destroyer. Really, it's just this tier 2 cavalry that we'd have to worry about. I think we could probably think about handling that. Not an easy battle by any means, but we could definitely do it. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Somebody else just completed Paragon. Holy cow. That means they have a tier 4 unit, so that's... well, that's a little bit terrifying, to say the least. So, yeah, we definitely need to really prioritize getting some powerful units out of the gate here quickly. Okay. So we now have our Dominating Chicken. That's going to be a huge benefit for us. So now let's send this off to Welby. So it's going to take a few turns to get there. Transform to Fire Node is ready to cast, so let's do that real quick. We'll throw that on our Mana Node here. We did have an item arrive, so that's excellent. That's the jewel item for Leo, so we will equip that. So now he has Fearsome, so if he gets attacked, there's a chance that when a unit attacks him, basically, it will become panicked. And that would be great. That'll make things a lot easier when we're using him in melee combat, if we do. All right, so Paragon. As I said, that means somebody has built or summoned a tier 4 unit. That's pretty terrifying. Valak, again, I think we're going to just ignore that for now. Arendelle, same thing. We're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. You know, this might actually be a good point to end the episode here. I realize we're running a bit longer on time than maybe usual, so we'll do maybe just one or two more things, and then I think we'll call it an episode. Oh, and look at this. Another dragon. Another dragon dwelling. So, yeah, when they're ready to talk, sure, why not? And then we can send ourselves kind of back this way and go figure out what's up here. Now, obviously with Welby, I think we're just going to make a beeline for this quest. So now let's see where is it located. Ooh, they're over there, so we'll go down the road just a bit. Now, again, it's saying that they're over here, so let's... There they are. Okay. Alright, so let's... You know what? This might be a good way to end the episode. Let's do this battle. Be kind of an epic conflict here. I think this will actually be pretty challenging. All these wisps are going to be jumping in behind me and causing me all kinds of... Oh! That shock breath isn't very fun to deal with either. So, alright, let's be really careful here. So we're going to move Leo back. We're going to throw our Phoenix Warrior onto our Pony Rider, as we often do. We'll also throw a Nourishing Meal on there. And we'll charge our Pony Rider right up the gut. Yeah, you know what? Let's start damaging that Eldritch Horror, because obviously that thing is absolutely terrifying. We'll send Welby back over here. You know what? We can even use just a heal on himself. There we go. Meanwhile, our Brew Brothers, I guess we can just kind of do this. Let's see what happens. I'm guessing this Horror may go after my Brew Brother. Yeah. Ooh, it tried to dominate. Thankfully resisted. Okay, all these wisps are coming at me. There we go. We got a panic. That's good. Alright, so now let's... You know what? I was going to build up a charge, but let's just do some damage here. Ooh, and we got some Luckies that are actually making that really good for us. Do some big damage here to the Horror. Ooh, and almost get the kill. Fantastic. Welby can do some work here. Leo can also do some work. I think we'll try and get the kill with the Farmer on this one. There we go. And then Leo can... we need someone else to be able to come and finish off the Horror. Maybe we use Leo to do that. There we go. Oh, and Leo got panicked by hitting the Horror. You know what? I should have actually used his crossbow. I didn't think that one through all the way. It's alright, though. Okay, and now we've just got the one wisp left. Leo's going to take off, I think, here. Yeah, there he goes. Bye, Leo. Nice knowing you, buddy. Alright, so now let's just finish off this wisp here with some damage. And we can do a little bit of healing here, which would be good for us, I think. But, you know what? Let's just move our Brew Brother in and make sure we get the kill. Excellent. Alright, so that takes care of that quest. And that's fantastic. I think this is a perfect place to leave the episode. So we've now aborted the Abominations. We're going to take that reward. We're going to get a Vassal, a Shadow Elf Exterminator, a Shadow Elf Storm Priest, and the ability to throw Net. 100% going to take that reward. So, grab that with Welby. Might actually be good to give this to Leo, since he's going to be kind of in combat. Oh, that's nice. And you know what? Now we've probably got enough units that we could start entertaining the idea of Leo maybe starting to split off and form his own army. So, oh, look at this. This is great. Lots of things to go and try and clear out here as well. We've got this Scrolls of Knowledge there. I've got a tomb up here, and as well, obviously, this glass furnace. And then eventually, if we're strong enough, the Raven's Keep. So yeah, that worked out extremely, extremely well. So now let's just kind of zoom out here and look at what we've got going on. Of course, we're about to try to reclaim Fahas. So all in all, quite happy with how that episode turned out. I went a little bit longer with the episode just because, again, I wanted to go through all those fantastic comments at the beginning. So we'll save this one as episode number 9. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And again, a big thank you to everybody for those fantastic comments on the last episode. And I will see you guys in the next one.